In my last video, I reviewed the Valhalla, the latest 19VA flagship IEM from the brand Thieaudio. That video was getting pretty long, so I thought why not make a separate video comparing the V16 versus Valhalla versus Monarch MK4. If you want to check out the full video of the Valhalla, the links will pop up here. Go check that video out after this video. Now let's begin the comparison with the V16 versus Monarch MK4 and let's see what upgrades the Valhalla brings over V16. Now let's start talking about the cables. The cables provided with the both IEMs are good. V16 has a sleeved cable which makes it slightly microphonic. It still feels decently premium and handles quite well. Actually, a bit better than Valhalla's cable in that regard. The Valhalla on the other hand comes with the Elite Noir cable. It's thick, very robust and definitely feels premium. Personally, I prefer the Elite Noir cable. In terms of aesthetics, both are excellent. V16 follows the Thieaudio's older design language. It looks very beautiful and unique with its half glitter, half wood pattern being one of the most distinctive designs Thieaudio has ever made. The Valhalla by contrast has a more toned down and mature aesthetic. Personally, I find liking the V16's faceplate design a lot more. When it comes to build quality, there is no competition. Valhalla's titanium shells are superior to V16's resin shells. The Valhalla feels more premium, more durable all around, and honestly almost indestructible. In terms of fit and comfort, both IEMs are chonkers, and if you have small ears, you will likely have issue with both of them. That said, despite of being the thicker shell, the Valhalla gave me a better fit and comfort thanks to its contoured design. The bulbous part of the V16 shell can be a bit of an issue. In terms of sources, I did most of my testing on my desktop stack, the topping E70 Velvet and A70 Pro. For portable sources, I use the Quad Mojo tool. In terms of drivability, both are pretty easy to drive, but the V16 is even more sensitive than the Valhalla. It needs the tiniest amount of power to get loud. Now, before moving to sound section, if you are enjoying this video, please press the like button and do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, let's talk about sound comparison. As both are BA flagships on Thieaudio, you might assume that Valhalla is simply just an upgrade of the V16, but that's not the case here. The Valhalla feels more like a side grade than a straight upgrade. It has a more U-shaped sound signature with emphasis on sub-bass and the air region, while the V16 leans towards a neutral tuning with a slight bass boost. Let's begin with the bass. The Valhalla has substantially more sub-bass while the V16 carries a bit more mid-bass. The Valhalla clearly takes the lead when it comes to sub-bass rumble and texture. It's a definitive upgrade over V16 in that regard. On the other hand, the mid-bass thump is slightly better on the V16. Overall bass dynamics and density feel stronger on the Valhalla. The V16 does have a slightly crisper and more well-defined initial attack with a quicker decay. The bass on Valhalla has that special sauce. It creates greater sense of width and depth, which translates into a more holographic soundstage. Now let's move on to mids. The mids on Valhalla are tuned to complement the overall sound signature, while on V16 they stand out more as there isn't enough bass and upper treble to pull your attention away. The lower mids on Valhalla carry more body and heft compared to the V16, which makes male vocals and instruments in this range sound more fuller and more realistic, while on the other hand V16's mids are cleaner with better separation from the low end. Moving up to the upper mids, the V16 is a bit more forward, giving female vocals extra energy and openness. The presence region on both is tuned very well. Vocals and instruments just have the right amount of bite without ever sounding sharp or sibilant. Now let's talk about treble. The Valhalla really flaunts its treble while V16 is a bit more reserved in this region. The Valhalla has more energy in the mid treble and air region, giving it extra bite and incisiveness. That boost in the air region also brings a stronger sense of openness and helps with micro detail retrieval. On the flip side, this boost doesn't sound as natural when compared to the V16. V16 is the more natural sounding set in the treble between the two. In terms of detail retrieval and technical performance, Valhalla is the clearly superior set among the two. It has better micro and macro detail retrieval with more wider and more holographic stage. The depth of the stage is also better. The instrument separation, layering and imaging are also all superior on the Valhalla. Now let's do a comparison between Valhalla versus Monarch MK4. This will be a very interesting comparison as both are the latest Thieaudio IEMs in the above $1,000 mark. Now let's begin with talking about cables. Valhalla's cable is clearly better compared to Monarch Mark 4. The Monarch's cable is on the stiffer side, holds a lot of memory and honestly doesn't match the aesthetics of the IEM that well. When it comes to fit and comfort, Monarch Mark 4 takes the win. Its slimmer, lighter shell and the longer nozzle provides a deeper and more secure fit compared to the Valhalla. As for aesthetics, it's more of a toss-up. The Monarch Mark 4's black shell with its matching black faceplate gives it a sleek, stealthy look. The Valhalla on the other hand stands out with its colorful faceplate and the titanium shells, offering a strong visual contrast and a very premium feel. In terms of build quality, both are excellent, but Valhalla still edges out the Monarch Mark 4 here. Its titanium shells feel heftier and denser compared to the Monarch Mark 4's aluminum alloy shells. Drivability wise, Monarch Mark 4 needs slightly more power than the Valhalla, though neither of them are very hard to drive. Now let's move on to sound. The party piece of the Monarch Mark 4 is its bass switch, which gives you two tuning options. With the switch off, you get a balanced W-shaped tuning. With the switch on, the tuning leans more towards the bassy side. For this comparison, I will be using the bass switch on setting as that competes with Valhalla more directly. Now let's talk about bass. The bass on the Monarch Mark 4 is a clear upgrade over its predecessor, both in terms of quality and quantity. That said, Valhalla still has slightly better bass quality than Monarch Mark 4. Valhalla's sub-bass rumble and texture along with the mid-bass thump and slam are both stronger and feel more satisfying. The Monarch Mark 4 has a crisper initial attack while the Valhalla's slower decay gives the notes a more satisfying weight. Overall, Valhalla's bass feel more dense and more satisfying. Don't get me wrong, Monarch's bass is excellent, it's just that Valhalla takes it a step further. In fact, Monarch's bass is 95% of the way there to Valhalla's level. Now, on to the mids. This will come down to the personal preference. Either you will like the laid-back presentation of Valhalla's mids or more forward presentation of the Monarch's mids. Personally, I lean toward the Monarch's approach. It has more energy in the lower mids, giving male vocals and instruments extra heft and body, while the upper mids also carry more energy, adding extension and liveliness to female vocals. On top of that, Monarch has a switch down tuning which gives it a more cleaner and neutral presentation, giving it a bit more flexibility. The presence region on the Monarch is also forward which gives the vocals better bite, though it can sometimes sound sharp on poor recordings. In terms of treble, both are excellent in their own ways and honestly, I can't clearly choose a winner in this department. The Valhalla has more energy in the mid treble and air region, giving it a bit more bite and an aerial presentation. The Monarch on the other hand sounds more correct and natural overall, with a slightly sweeter treble presentation. In terms of detailed retrieval and technical performance, Valhalla is better. In terms of micro and macro detail pickup, Valhalla edges the Monarch. The stage on the Monarch is already very good with excellent width and depth, but the Valhalla goes even further. It sounds wider, deeper, and more holographic. Instrument separation, layering, and imaging are also a touch better on the Valhalla. So what's the conclusion then? As you can see, Thieaudio really cooked with the Valhalla. When it comes to V16 versus Valhalla, Valhalla, even though has a slightly different sound signature, is still a clear upgrade over the V16. It improves upon its predecessor in multiple ways. So if you're thinking of moving from V16 to Valhalla and want to try a slightly different sound signature, I would say go for it and I can wholeheartedly recommend this. Now Valhalla versus Monarch Mark 4 is not as straightforward. While Valhalla is better in certain areas, the Monarch Mark 4 offers better value for money. It gives you more flexibility with its tuning switches, which makes it an even greater value proposition. Now, this is the classic case of mind versus heart. If you have the money, go for the Valhalla. Personally, I would pick it myself also. But honestly, I would be just as happy with the Monarch Mark 4. So if you want value and flexibility, go with the Monarch Mark 4. Again, if you want the absolute best Thieaudio has to offer, then Valhalla is your pick. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button and do subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to see a full review of the Monarch Mark 4, let me know in the comments down below. I will try to make a full review of the Monarch as well. Bye!